And we're at day 44 of 50 days of fitness. I woke up early this morning. It's still dark 30. I don't even know. I think it's maybe 6 a.m. or something. I woke up early and I don't know. I was just awake, and I considered going back to sleep. I thought, I'm awake, man. I don't know. So I went ahead, got up, got my first cup of coffee done, got my first set done. So we've got that behind us. So the rest of the day is downhill. And I made it again yesterday, 4 sets. So I've done pretty well there. And I think I'll get through all 4 today. But we'll see, especially since I got an early start. Weight still at 200. So today's a Thursday. I think that makes 2 weeks straight where I've been at 200, and so I think we can officially call this a plateau. and, and I don't know. Maybe that's where I'm going to be here for a while. I don't know. But that's not bad. I do still have some. Um, Belly fat and around the middle and around my back and those kinds of things, and so I kind of like to be maybe another 10 pounds, see if I can't knock the rest of that out, but I don't know, maybe it's not meant to be. We'll see. So I think maybe 2 days ago I mentioned running, and I think it was yesterday we talked about swimming, and so I got to thinking about it. I thought, well, you got to finish out the triathlon series. So we're gonna talk a little bit about biking. If you have not been on a bike in a while, one of the things about biking is um, it's a very low impact uh, type of exercise, and it's something you don't really mess up your joints or anything like that. And I don't know, there's something really nice about being on a bike. And you can go out. And so if you're just starting biking, if you haven't been out biking in a while, I would say start out again, probably with time. Don't really worry about distance, at least not yet. Worry about time. And maybe your first day, I would say maybe 10 minutes. Of course, you have to kind of gauge your overall fitness level. If you are starting from scratch, I would say maybe 10 minutes. If you are in reasonably good shape, but you just haven't done biking, well, that's a little bit different story. I mean, if you've built up your cardiac endurance a little bit, you might start out with, say, 20 minutes instead. Although, if you haven't done that kind of activity, you will be sore. So even if you're in good shape, but you haven't done something like that, 20 minutes might be a little long to start off with. But I would say maybe 10 minutes, let's put it in that range, 10 minutes to maybe 20 minutes. And I would do that for a little while. And one of the things about biking is you can bike every day if you want to. And you can build up your endurance. It's just like everything else. You can increase it. My experience has been that you can do it the same way you do running. Kind of increase 3 or 4 weeks in a row, then back down, 3 or 4 weeks in a row, back down, and kind of slowly increase. But you'd be amazed. You can start from almost scratch, and you can be riding 20 or 30 miles really in no time. And you can even be riding 50, 100 miles a lot faster than you might think. Now, I'm not telling everybody to do that. And I used to really love to go out on my bike. But it did get to the point, I kind of had gotten up to where it seemed like every ride in my mind had to be a long ride. And I'd go out for bike rides on Saturdays, and I'd be out on a bike for 4 or 5 hours, maybe even 6 hours. And after a while, I got thinking about it, and I thought, that's a lot of time to be on a bike. So, I cut back. I haven't been on my bike. I maybe have been on it once or twice, but not much at all since I had my last cancer surgery. I just had to stop all this stuff for a while, and so I haven't really been on my bike since then to speak of. And one of the things about biking, I love biking, but one of the things about it is biking's pretty dangerous. And I mean, you can have an accident on your bike, and especially you can be going pretty fast. Like if you're going downhill, it used to make me nervous. I would brake, but some of my friends wouldn't brake, and you know, they might be going 50, 60, 70 miles an hour going down a long hill. And I mean, if you're just you have a bike helmet on and that's about it. If you have a crash, man, it's a serious accident. And there are things you can't control. You know, there's gravel you don't know about. There's a turn that turns rapidly and you're not aware of it because you can't see it. You've never ridden that road before. There's dogs that might jump out and chase you. You know, I've had you know, things where a squirrel jumped out and it didn't get me, but somebody who was on the ride, it jumped out, got, and it's pretty nasty, but it got caught in the spokes and giant crash. It was really horrible. And but out of all those things, the biggest thing is cars. It is really hard. And so when you're biking, you don't, you know, there are no, or at least there are very few roads that are just for bikes. We are almost always expected to be on the road with cars and share the road with cars. And and that puts us in a bad position because in general, you know, we can't keep up with cars, and we can't always get off the road. That's one thing I think a lot of people don't know is when you're on your bike, you become very aware of the roads. When you're riding in a car, you may not even notice it, but a lot of drivers will complain, well, the bikers shouldn't even be on the road. They should be over whatever. And lots of times they'll even paint a bike lane over there, and there won't be any place for your bike to go. There's no shoulder over there. Or, you know, lots of times they'll paint a bike line and it will be in the same lane where there are cars that have parallel parking there. And, you know, there's just tons and tons of hazards. And you usually don't have anywhere to go. And you also don't have any protection. And it is super common for bikers to be in accidents with cars. And if you are, it's like right now, I'm 200 pounds and my bike is maybe, I don't know how much it weighs, maybe 20 pounds or 30 pounds, something like that. So 230 pounds, if you all remember anything at all about physics, and even if you don't remember the exact physics, just the intuitiveness of it, what do you think is going to happen if you have a 2 or 3 ton car hit something that is 200, 250 pounds? Who's going to win? I mean, the guy on the bike is going to lose every single time. And unfortunately, there's a lot of hostility from drivers for bikers. And, you know, there doesn't seem to be any way to make them happy. Now, I'm not going to try to claim that bikers don't sometimes do irritating things. I'm not going to claim that at all. But I want you to think about that. It's like, you know, who in the world is at the big disadvantage here? Who's the person who can really get hurt? And I don't think any of us want to hurt anybody. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And I just, you know, but drivers, you know, I've had drivers throw things at me. I've been run off the road more times than I can count. And when you get run off the road, especially if you're on a street bike, you don't know. I mean, if you look at the side of the road, there's all kinds of debris there. There's often broken glass there. There's gravel. There's all kinds of things. And if you get thrown off the road, if you get, you know, shoved off the road, your chances of being in an accident, and a pretty severe one, are just go through the roof. It is real easy to just crash when you get thrown off the road like that. And, you know, in all honesty, that's one of the reasons I really cut back on biking is, you know, when I first started biking pretty long distances, I was on the roads, but I was like in rural areas of the roads, and so there generally wasn't a whole lot of traffic. But as the city has expanded, there's a ton of traffic out there now, and there's really no way to get to less, you know, I mean, you have to ride a while to get to someplace with less traffic. So those are the things about biking that you need to know. It's one, as an exercise, it's terrific. Two, start out kind of slow and do that. Three, be really careful where you ride. It can be, even though it's enjoyable and even though physically it's really good for you, it can be super, super dangerous. And you have to think about that. And if you are not a biker, but you're a driver, I'm going to ask you to please remember, you know, these guys, if you're on a bike, you are, you know, a car would crush you in no time. There is no protection for you at all. So be kind to the bikers. And yeah, I know that sometimes they're doing irritating things, but I want you to think about a few things too. One, you're on two wheels, you're not on four. So if you stop, you're going to fall over, and you know, unless you put your feet down. And so that's one of the things I hear a lot of people with cars complain. Well, you know, they ride through stop signs and they ride through red lights and they do that stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's still check for traffic. I mean, we do, and you're right, absolutely. We're supposed to stop at those things, but in order to do that, you can't just stop like a car because you'll fall over. And so there's a balance thing there. Sometimes if it's clear and you keep going, it'll keep you from falling over. So anyway, that's my talk about cycling. So, but I think I said a lot of negative things there. I love cycling. I think, you know, if it's something you should give some thought to if you're looking for some cardio, but just be very careful. And that's it, my friends. That's day 44. We are under a week, 6 days left on the final countdown. So everybody have a great day. Take care. Bye.